Welcome back to Factorio. I have a special change today. I am recording this under Linux. So just for fun, I set up my PC to dual boot, installed Fedora because, well, I have a long history of using Fedora for serious Linux things and Debian for fun Linux things. And I thought, hey, can I game on Fedora? And I popped up Fedora and I said, DNF install Steam. And it said, okay. And then I said, DNF install OBS Studio. And it said, okay. So why not? So we're going to give this a shot. And for my test run here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a single block here, well, a double wide, which is going to replace these two low density structures areas. So it will need copper, lots of copper, good chunk of steel and a good chunk of plastic. We don't have plastic yet. I'm still putting off building my petroleum area, but that's all we need for LDS. So we need, well, the plastic and the copper are going to come in on the bulk unloaders, and the plastic will come in on a normal 4 train. So this looks a lot like these guys up here. I want to pick one that has 8 lines coming down, not 6. So not this processing. I think these advanced guys are the right ones. So I'm just going to copy paste this area here, and what I'll do is I will change the iron station to pull out the steel that I need, and that's not gonna work very well with the lake there in the middle. So I will duplicate this. I will erase the factory. I will change these over to be the appropriate kinds of stations. So we're pulling steel and copper. We'll keep the plastic. And this guy, I'll have to rename the output as well. Okay. So in preparation for that, I want to turn off the dispatcher. So Control-Shift-D. So LTN will stop dispatching trains. I'm going to have to wait until these guys are done. So the purpose there is I don't want any trains dispatched to the new area just because it happens to have train station names that are the same. Or no, let's not save the train station names. That's better. And what would be our concern there? Our concern there is that if we had our dispatcher turned on, it would immediately send out requests for these things, well, not plastic. Copper would be good, but it would send out a request for iron into my steel station, which would be bad. So dispatcher's turned off. In order to keep a good view on these things, I'm going to put down some super radars real quick. Just like that. So in order to save myself the effort of trimming the top and bottom, I'm going to grab a little more than normal here. I'm going to grab from this power pole here all the way down to that power pole there. I'm going to use Shift, so I pick up everything, but I'm going to turn off train stop names. Those are off. And trains and train field get turned off. I'm keeping entities and modules. And that will set my my things up for me. This should be perfect. And we want to drop the assemblers and the beacons in the middle. And I'll have to go in and carve out with my deconstructor the rest of this stuff. So there's my blueprint. Now where do I want to put this station? I'm thinking this pair here. So basically, we want to delete, not including that power pole, out like that. Let's make sure we got everything. So sometimes you can delete things that are outside radar coverage and sometimes you can't. So there's that. And I put this down once. And that did put down the whole thing. How about that? And this entire area goes away all the way up to here. And in fact, I want to rework how these guys get clipped across. Okay, so there's that. I do need to have a train in here with duplicating cargo wagons. This fakes up my plastic for me. Oh, that was too much plastic. Okay, and we take the plastic away. And I'm going to say 0 plastic, just in case. And just for now, give him some fuel. So this guy needs to request steel, not iron. There we go. So now we turn the dispatcher back on. Oh, I should have fixed the names. These guys have random names. Let's disable the dispatcher again. Oh, we've already got trains coming. We'll just have to wait for these trains to finish up. However, we can do a few of them. So they're going to be similar to this. The difference is this is LTN plastic. I was going to change these AAAs to LTNs at some point, but I guess not yet. I think I have some stations that are LTN prefix and some that are AAA prefix. Nope, just AAA prefix. Okay, that's fine. That puts the LTN stuff up near the top. So it's AAA plastic 1A. That's incorrect. This needs to be plastic for whatever. And we are making low density structures, and we'll call that 1A. So this guy has no things left, so he is steel. And he is clear, so he is now copper. There. So these stations are now properly renamed. So we have steel and copper and plastic's got its dummy inputs. And you notice that steel and copper have been delivered and are flowing. And down at the bottom, This is our output station, which is AAA Low Density Structures 1A. And yes, these guys are still 4. So now we need to put all the stuff in the middle here, which is basically this build. I don't think I can blueprint it from off screen, can I? Nope, I can't. I think I am done with this guy's radar. So we can remove him. And then go down here to pick up my low density structure build. Let's drop a big radar down here. So we'll be able to copy paste from here later if we want to. So this guy, I didn't realize I still had those. They aren't contributing anything because they can't put anything in from the backside, but let's get rid of them anyway. I mean, it's okay as a marker, but eek. Every one of those is a drain on the UPS. So coming down, these two guys need to be plastic and steel, but they could be in either order. And this needs to be copper on the inside lane. And as it turns out, if I look at this in terms of express transport belts, each one of these columns can handle 0.556 of a belt of copper. So we are about a little over 10% over. So we're going to be running at about 90%. That's good. That's okay. I'm suspecting that if we carved off a beacon or two, that'd peel that down. We could experiment with that. Doesn't really matter though, because the beacons are essentially free. I mean, we have immense production capabilities in the other base, combined with the fact that I'm actually using, forgot to turn on the dispatcher, combined with the fact that I'm actually using Creative Mod when I'm moving things around in this base. I may be overusing Creative Mod at this point, but I'd rather at this point focus on the planning and what goes into this. So we're going to carve up this much, and this is going to get put down twice. So basically, there we go. I need to have 2 copies of this, roughly split evenly. Let's just put these down like that. Now what I'd like is for these two to be equally off from the middle, and I think that that's as close as we're going to get. Now each one of these is half a belt, and if I do this out the right, yeah, I think I can set this up Let me think. 16 half belts. We're going to be merged coming in here. The plastic, I really need an 8-8 balancer on the plastic rows coming out before it goes anywhere. So we'll do one of those. For balance coming into the array, we don't need to rebalance coming out. So really what I have is something like that. Let's drop that into place. So now what we want is the first 4 of these to go into the guy on the left, and the other ones to go in the guy on the right. So 1, 2, 3, there's the 4th one. So if we did there, that would make it kind of slick. We don't need a lot of space here. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. There would be the minimum. I mean, absolute minimum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How about there? So I went up the absolute minimum and then another 6 or so to give us a little bit of breathing room. Now on the top here, so the copper comes in here, and the copper needs to be on the one side. This extra thing here was mainly just for bringing in more than half a lane of copper, and we're not going to be doing that here. So let's take this thing right here. I'm going to also erase the splitters. I'm going to rework the belts here and then copy it over. Now, it's possible, as long as I'm reworking it, could I instead make, instead of 5 high by 16, make 8 columns, each one of which takes an entire belt of copper. Using that same trick I used before with the undergrounds to bring it down and around. Well, I'm thinking, can I do that with 8 of them? Let's tinker. So, what if that went away? So this is slight overkill on the power, but it's not horrible overkill. And my requirements here are comfortable. So instead of what we've got down below, let's kill this entirely. Boop. I'm going to use this. Let's get out of the Spidertron. The Spidertron's a little springy for me right now. So in theory, my power could be as low as here and as high as here. I don't see any reason not to do that. And in fact, I wonder what happens if I put these on, because those are actually in range. What is right here? Oh, that's even closer to exactly a belt. Okay, we'll use this. That's a nice belt. So from the left, we have our half and half guy. Boom. Just stripe him down like that. And boom, boom. Oh, let's give ourselves a little better working space here. Now on the other side, we've got that. Now, there's 4 groups of these 4. If I do that, that will bring more copper in from this line, which is just perfect. So now we just need to make sure that the copper goes in on only the inside part of that. You can see that I've got my hot buttons set differently than usual. So if we're here, oh come on, there we go. And there we have it. So copper and steel and plastic come in over on the left, and our half belt of output comes down at the bottom. Half belt containing 0.68 of a belt, 0.068. I like that belt. I'll go with that. Okay, so this, I need a snap to grid relative, and the width is 10. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oops, 8. Too many. Trim it back to there. So now we have the 4 on the left and the 4 on the right. And I'm thinking, just put it like that. Now again, this is really only 4 belts, because each one of these is half a belt. Oops, that wasn't good. Let's see. This goes here. There we go. Now these 4 belts need to be split between the 4 areas here. So an 8 wide, this guy is overkill. Definite overkill. More to the point, is he even... Okay, so we are making no effort to balance our flows into those boxes to keep them level. We are balancing taking them out. I'm thinking that's backwards. In fact, I'm absolutely sure that's backwards. So what I'm going to do is rework all of this completely. Okay, so I do want to be able to load quickly. However, what if these guys got, these are using it everything greater than, down here we've got a filter mini loader, which is going to chop it off when we get everything loaded we want. We only have the one thing, so we don't need to worry about stuff in here. So these guys do not need this. And also I'm noticing that red wire was connected between the two of them. That's not good. So we do need the green for inventory. And I am just going to drain boxes into cars as fast as they will go. Like that. So the question is, do I need more than 2 boxes for this load? This is actually quite a very fast load, especially since it's only stacks of 10. So we're loading 40 stacks by 10. That's going to load very fast, even with just the 2 there. That 2 may even be overkill. I think the 2 is overkill. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have 1 box, and this will have a buffer. No. There was a reason for 2 boxes. When I call a train, I need to make sure that I have enough in every box to fill the train, which means that if some boxes are high and some boxes are low, I want even the low boxes to be able to fill the train. And I think it's easiest to do that if I have that much capacity. Okay, so now when we're loading boxes, these guys I am going to want to condition on the box not having a whole bunch of excess. And we can put a splitter right there. So one belt's going to come down into the splitter and flow in. So now this guy needs to be mapped over here, and we hook this up. So red connects there. And you notice that I did not get my connections here at all. I've noticed that we don't always get our wires connected up. There. So this filter condition is going to be everyone is less than 30. That's that same overkill that I've been doing before. I'm not sure why this is not sticking. That's working. Okay, so there's something weird about copying and pasting the mini loaders. I have to check every one of them to make sure that its condition is set properly. Now this guy is set to divide by -8, so he's already set for fixing up for balancing. So I'm just going to put him right next to it. And he will connect up with the inventory on the bottom and the average coming out, negative of the average coming out the top. So these guys will insert as long as we're not too far above the average. So on the output, if we have more than 16,000, we're going to let a train come pick up from us. Train capacity is, let's see, 10 times 10 per row. It's 100 per row. It's 400 per track. So 16K is exactly one train load. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, call a train when I've got 20K, just in case they aren't perfectly balanced. There. Now we just need to hook these up. So this guy is going to go to here. These two are going to go down here. Just bring this up like this. Like that. Now we know which side of the belt these guys are on. So there may even be an easier way to do this. This guy is going to be on the upper edge, which is just wrong. This guy's on the lower edge. No, that's about as good as we're going to get. Okay, that works. Let's use our little clipper to do the other ones. Okay, there's our output. Downside is we are not balancing these four lines, which is something we need to do when we're doing that like that. So this needs to do one more thing. So there's a couple ways I can balance this. One is a standard balancer coming in, but I think there's a balancer I like more. And let me just run that out here. That is looking something like this. I am getting tired of this having the wrong things on my buttons. Now this actually requires one more row out here to become a perfect balancer. And it may or may not be important in this application, but there's really no reason not to do it. There. So we get all 8 of these guys, and in pairs they produce on left and right hand sides, and we balance through here and send them down. Now if we want to look at the lanes, the left lane of each one of these belts is the perfect balance of the left lane of all the inputs, and so with the right. And the way we're splitting here means that these can take either from the left or from the right, whichever one is available. So the important thing is that we get each lane of these guys can go to any box. And I don't believe we are limited in throughput anywhere. So let's put our power back. And now we want our inputs. We have plastic, which goes to one of these guys, and we have steel that goes to the other, and then we have copper, which goes to these guys on the right. Let's bring those down. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring them down around this signal here, and then bring them back and in. So this guy would come up here. So here's our steel. Like that. Steel and copper. And this one's going to have copper on the left and steel on the right. You have to remember that, because if we try to make this symmetric, we'll mess up with which one is our steel and which one's our copper. To prevent that, I think it might be best at this point to set up our corners and actually get things flowing so we never see the wrong thing in the wrong place. Take that, and we can flip that. So here, and then here. So let's bring the copper down and around and in to start with. So where does our copper come out? Let's see, how about here? So that's where our copper starts. Okay, there's copper. Steel is here. And I want to bring that up a little bit so we can, even though we're not using yellow undergrounds, I still like to do my spacing based on 4 belts with 2 in between. So, we don't need any splitters. So we just come straight across. Because there's only 8 of these build areas, I don't have to do something I thought I was going to have to do, which is bring each line across and have a splitter on it. So we're just going to do that direct. And the plastic lines are going to come from up above somewhere. Now from the right, this is not symmetric. We want steel coming down to the bottom along here. So this is going to be our last steel. We're putting that right here. Just like that. And we can just get that properly set, and we can put the copper bend in as well. There. There's steel, copper, there we go. You notice that all of the plastic input lines are all off to the left of where we come in. So I can just strike this down and bring it across where I want it. Now with the plastic, I'm going to leave another 2 gap here. Seeing these patterns is kind of a flag to me. It tells me what capacity I've got. It tells me how much I've got going where, how many of them I've done. It helps me keep things organized even when I don't actually need to have groups of 4 with gaps. And there's plastic. Now, if I have done this right, this should now be flowing, and we should be receiving, well, with the input of 7.8 belts of copper and 0.78 belts of steel. That's not a lot of steel, and 2 belts of plastic, not a lot of plastic. We're getting half a belt out of low density structures. In terms of items per minute, there we go. 21,000 copper per minute. So this is again going to stress our copper mines, and it is also likely to stress our iron mines. And we can watch our inventory quantities go up here. 1.3K, 1.4K. This is not fast. Let's look at that number again. We are getting 1,500 per minute. In terms of items per second, that's only 25 items per second. So it's going to take 4 seconds to bump this So every 4 seconds or so, it bumps by another 0.1K. Now we are allowing a pickup 20K. So the other thing is this enough for us? What is our actual budget for low density structures here? So we need 1,529 LDSs per minute for our budgeted 1,000 items per second. And we are short. So even this is just a little bit short. And I'm wondering if I can sneak another one of those in. What does that do to this guy? In terms of fast transport belts, that now means that's not right. Oh, express transport belts. So in terms of express transport belts, we can't quite feed that last guy. But I think that's not a lose. I think if we do that, it means our theoretical output will be slightly higher, but it will also, the actual output will match exactly what we can get based on 8 belts of copper input. So go back to Factory Planner, and for this is looking for 21,836 copper plate per minute, 21,836. In items per minute, this could eat 23K, but it really eats 8 belts. So 8 belts is 2,700 times 8, 21,600. How does that compare? Okay, so 8 belts of copper does not get us enough low density structures for our budgeted 1,000 per throughput. That's kind of unfortunate. So now the question is, can I sneak another line out? Can I sneak some more copper out from here? If I do, what happens? This is stacked up. Why am I not? Oh, I won't have any requests being set here yet because there are others. There are others that are appropriate. So 20K, we have 3.8K. 20K is not going to do it. So 2,000. So let's do the math again. 10 per stack times 10 stacks per row is 100 times 4 rows is 400 times 4 cars is 1,600. So this is a full train plus a little bit. Oh, if I were to have just 2 more belts of copper snuck out of here. Just tap directly. I'm just going to scum this a little bit. Oh my goodness. These guys are not set up properly either. Oh boy. See, I shift click on that and it's not setting it. I think if I paste the recipe on it, it works though. Yeah, okay. And now we need to hook up. Okay, so now we have top and bottom. What I want to do is bring out these on 2 lanes and balance those 2 lanes and then send them out so I can add 1 more on each side of this. Just 1 there. I was just going to add 1 there. And 1 there. It would just have that filter into another. Oh, we filter into the left. Okay, that works. Okay. And this is going to be kind of a catch-up thing. So it's going to look like this. And we're going to red filter out the right. And now we grab that and that. We don't need to balance the inputs on these. We just need to make sure that we can take from all of them. And the conditions on the mini loaders will handle, selecting who gets to send the data, or send the outputs. Okay, so this, let's swap the one on the end. It's going to come out here, all the way out to here. And he's going to provide the copper, which goes in there. Now I need to have something in the weight of steel coming out here. I can't pull the same trick, but on the other hand, steel is not that critical anymore. You know, steel, there's so much less steel that's required. So I can vampire tap off of any of this. And I think I may be able to grab, well, if I just grab it off of one of them, it's balanced upstream. We could do this. Okay, there's steel. And we're going to do the same thing with plastic. Oh, and in the case of plastic, I do need to put a balancer in. Yeah, let's not skip it this time. Yeah, this is because we want this additional lane to essentially be spread across those two. And these guys also need it, and that's going to be let's put it in. Well, it actually might be better if we just make this consistent. Yeah, if I'm going to balance it, I might as well balance it. Okay, we're going to bring all of this together and make a big 8 by 8 to 8 balancer. Because we have admitted that we do need to balance these. So here, we should have been getting some out. Ah, I haven't hooked up the rest of them yet. No, that one's hooked up. These are all hooked up. I'm getting some on, oh, right, I grabbed some, but I didn't grab them all. So now this guy needs to come out. Come on. Can I bring it in here? Yep. So now this, we need to feed in to some of these. To the right. I'm hoping this will be good. So now, in theory, we have more output. So now we need to route the trains to here. Call my trusty steed. And we can start killing off the low density structures down below. Get him out of the way. So, all of the inputs here are from infinite sources, which means that we are suddenly going to be drawing on copper and steel from our smelters, which is probably okay. So it shouldn't take long for it to drain out all of the low density structures from these two stations. And there we see we are starting to drain from the upper one. Not as fast as the bulk loaders, but pretty fast. So these guys will drain as long as they have 1.6K in them. So a couple trains more each. Let's get our tags set up here. Third generation low density structures. Boop. And that goes in like that. Whoops, almost walked out in front of him. He's got enough for a train, maybe two. So far, running this under Linux, I've not had any problems. It was a little tricky. OBS couldn't find the Factorio window because I'm using a really weird window manager. Normally you'd be using something like KDE or GNOME, and there's all sorts of fancy stuff the window manager does. But in this case, I'm using something called CWM, which is a derivative of the window manager I used to use decades ago called Evil WM, which has the attribute that windows on it have a single pixel border. They look like this. So there's no title area except for that there's the transient area up there that has the size of it when I'm moving it around. And it's all done with keyboard chording combined with mouse buttons. So Control and Alt and Meta, Super, whatever you want to call it, Control Alt Super, the Windows button. But what that does get me is that this window we're looking at here for Factorio uses the entire vertical range of the screen, which some window managers don't let you do. They'll say, oh, we're going to reserve the top 32 pixels or 48 pixels, whatever, for our banner or the bottom. And don't have to worry about it. There's a number of reasons I like this particular window manager. Reasons I like Evil WM. CWM actually is something very new to me now. But the reason why I like this is that this gives me very quick pick up a window and move it, pick up a window and resize it, and so on. But even with a very odd, very old style window manager, OBS still works. It can still capture the screen. I can still set my displays up. I can still use an XR&R to place my second display in the appropriate location, rotated to portrait mode where I keep it. Steam works just fine on Fedora. There have been teething problems over the years with Steam, and that's mostly worked out. Don't fall into the Linus trap of, oh, I'm installing Steam, it needs X Windows libraries that are incompatible with something unique my distro did. If your distro is making the X Windows libraries incompatible with anything anybody needs, you're on the wrong distro. So yeah, he got sucked up into the wrong distro. So let's see. Low density structure. No station supplying low density structures. Well, goodness. Let me make sure I'm configured properly. This says, oh, I wonder if I have specified a, I may have overspecified my station. Let's go back and fix it. Or maybe my station didn't have any ready. That's also possible. Yeah, see, nobody's being routed up here yet. So what's he saying? He's saying he's encoded network ID 2 in there. Let's set that to 3, so if somebody in network 1 wants to come grab it, that'll work too. There we go. See, now he's been scheduled. And this train is in AAA Depot 1, so he is in network 1. So apparently the requester down here, low density structures for space science, must be specifying itself as in network 1. That's fine. That will control which depots it comes out of, but that does mean that the station here providing the materials needs to allow both network 1 and network 2 to come pick up. So at this point, I'm going to see if I can pick up those two down south. Okay, this guy, he has 1300. That's not going to be a train load, and it's never going to be a train load, so we're going to just zap. And this guy, that's never going to be a train load either. So let's zap that and all the way out to there. Nice and clean. So one change that this makes is that now all of our low density structures are being supplied by a single station. It has more parking than the other ones did, but it's still going to be single station loading it. So there's always a chance that I'm going to be limited by my offloading capabilities. I don't think that's a concern though, because I don't think that we are going to be stressing that many belts of output. And for input, we are using the bulk loaders. So I don't expect to see trains backing up here or us running out of copper feeding into here. Those two extra columns though, that is such a bloody hack. Good Lord. So at this point we can remove this guy. So my next question is, how much has this changed our UPS throughput? I was going to show detailed info here. Time usage, there we go. So Creative Mod is still at like 0.6 out of our 0.8, 0.9. You know, Creative Mod is still the heavy hitter here. But not too bad. Okay, what if we run the gain speed up to 10? Where does it stabilize at? And dare I run it showing the whole factory? Why not? You know what I need to do is I need to settle on a benchmark for this. No, let's do that after we're all done. After we have the complete base stabilized 900 science per minute and just running with no creative mod or anything. At that point I will do the side-by-side comparison and find out exactly where we're spending our time and if there is any difference between Windows and Linux. Because believe you me, any excuse I have to ditch Windows is going to be good. But yeah, we're running about 200 UPS. And if I zoom way in on myself here, let's do Control F9 standing here in the middle. We're running, yeah, right around 200 UPS. At gain speed 10. Okay, well let's save this off and I will figure out what the next thing to do is for the next recording.